Hotep, my people, once again, it's Orgasms coming at you. I want to briefly touch on power and how this thing works, what it is that you feed, and how it's going to continue to be in power. Because I feel like, if you feeding or essence, then you have nothing to worry about. If you feeding nonsense, you got everything to be concerned about. Because literally, what you feed, y'all know I like to say universal prime creator, but we're just going to use the term that everybody knows, God. Whatever it is that you feeding your spirit energy to, that's your God, goddess. Ain't no other way of looking at it, because that's what has control over your existence, dwelling, and operating. I don't care how you look at it. If it's good, you controlled by goodness. If it's bad, we don't even need to describe that. Just look at your life. Be honest, look in the mirror, and keep it real with yourself on what your life looks like. And that should help you come to the understanding of what it is that you feed, what it is that you've given power to, and that it has power over you. So looking at a few little things here, if we implement these next 3 words, everything will change. We have the power, people. We just need to reorganize ourselves. And this here is the great Dr. Amos N. Wilson. I learned these things from him. I got big notes. Reorganize what? Reorganize your consciousness. You hear me? Reorganize your personality. Reorganize your culture. Because consciousness, if you really want to be real, consciousness is the universal prime creator. Consciousness is God and / truth. Consciousness is truth. So if you running from consciousness, you running from the truth. If you running from the truth, you running from consciousness. And in other words, you're running from the universal prime creator. You're running from God. Take that and let that resonate with y'all. Take that one. Keep that. Don't ever forget that. And then you look at us as a whole, as people, not just black people, but definitely, as I told y'all in the previous video, it starts with you. These things starts with you. It starts at home. It starts in your household. It starts with your family. Then it works its way outside your doors to the neighbors, throughout the community, and throughout the state, throughout the city, the state, throughout the country, worldwide. It starts with you. So if you feed bullshit, then bullshit is what's controlling your existence. You just keep it real like that. Stop playing with yourself. God, I don't play with myself. I keep it real. Personality. What type of person? You got old stanky ass personality. As I told y'all, the scriptures say to be made new in the spiritual attitude of your mind. You got an attitude. Is that type of personality you got? Okay, start analyzing and surveillance yourself. Keep it real with yourself, because I keep telling y'all in the last few videos, the window of opportunity is closing, and it's closing fast. Y'all need to make up your mind as to what y'all gonna do. And culture, what culture do we have? Everybody done stole from Africa, and then stole from everybody stealing from this culture. So ain't nobody got no culture. It's savagery. Ain't nothing but some savages. So keep it real. Reorganize your consciousness, reorganize your personality, and reorganize your culture. And in the previous video, I told y'all the kind of world that you exist in reflects the kind of consciousness you have. Think about that. Reorganize your consciousness. Come on, man. So if you feeding BS, then your consciousness is going to be BS. You got a BS God, etc., etc. If you change your consciousness or change your values orientation, you enter into a different world. Change your brain, change your life. We went over this before. Now, power, let's take a look at this on how it works. Power. Power ultimately has to do with the relationship between people, or let's say energies, spirits. You know what I'm saying? Give and take. We're going to say the other, and we know what the other is by now. The other so-called power is to a great extent based upon the nature of the relationship it has with you, with me, with us. They take, or it takes, and we empower it by the nature of our own behavior and attitudes as people, as spirits. The other cannot be what it is unless we are what we are. Catch that, people. So if we being secondary and good for nothing, okay, that's what you feeding. So that's what's gonna have power over you. This shit is not rocket science. Be honest with yourself. That's all you got to do. So in other words, the so-called powers that be, I like to say the powers that never were. Some people say the powers that were. Reason why I say they ain't never been in no power, because they don't have no spiritual, they don't have no auric essence, divine spiritual connection. So you don't have no power, because everything starts in the spirit and works its way into the physical. It starts from the spiritually invisible, unseen, and it crosses the threshold into the physically seen. So if all your power is in people or creation or humanity and mankind, with a world full of people with hijacked mindsets or disadvantaged mindsets and what have you, if you believe all your power is in nuclear weapons, guns and bullets and knives in your hands and killing and hurting and harming, you don't have no power. Because last time I checked, physicality and the things that's connected to it are temporal. They must come to an end. But spirit, especially auric essence, that abundant ancient of ancients, that isness, that original Christ spirit as a spirituality. Come on, y'all. The auric essence, original and primary spirit energy self, that does not come to an end. So you do your math on that one, and you make up your mind as to what it is that you want to continue to give your power to, and that's your God. That's what will control your existence, And again, to a good extent, the other is literally our creation. Since that's what we're feeding, we make the other who they remain, and that's empowered. So if you want things to change, then you got to be willing to put forth sufficient effort to do something different. And you notice I said willing and not ready. We got a big problem with that one too. Well, I ain't ready. I ain't ready for that. I don't want to hear that right now. That's why you are where you are. Be willing to hear something different than what you used to hearing. Listen. Go sit your ass down and be still and come to the truth of what consists of your existence, dwelling and operating, and do something about it. Because if you don't, ain't nothing gonna change. Stop waiting for somebody outside of you to save you, because it ain't gonna happen. You gotta save yourself. Just the way you learn how to become good for nothing, you gotta work your way out of that shit and remember your auric essence, or else everything's going to remain the same. People, power, giving and taking. What are you giving your spirit energy power to? Because this damn show taking it, that's obvious. Because literally, we so caught up in physicality, everything about money, everything about, some sex, you know what I'm saying? Beating on somebody, hurting and harming somebody, what we can put on, what we wear, what kind of jewelry we got on. Everything's about not what I think of myself or what somebody else thinks of me, but everything is about what I think somebody else thinks of me. Literally, that's what you're feeding your spirit energy to. And you can see that it's getting you nowhere. And yet we continue to do the same things over and over and expect different results. And y'all know what they call that. It's called insanity. So check yourself. Again, I'm going to keep telling y'all, the window of opportunity is closing fast. The universe has sped up, time has sped up, and is about to get rid of the fleas. And all that is original and connected to the oil essence, we will remain. For we are the ancient of ancient isness spirits. And there is none above us, none before, and there will be none after us. Get this thing before it's too late. I speak with nothing but love and truth. I speak to you the way I would speak to myself. And this is the way I speak to myself. Love you. Always. Hotep, Ashe. It is so, and so it is.